Welcome back to Bow News Network. We're actually taking a closer look at the weather here across the continental United States. We can see that low pressure system actually migrated its way into the northwest, and it's impacting the weather in the region of Montana as well as the South Dakota, North Dakota. There was actually recently a tornado alert for the region of Spring Lake, um, so in the region of South Dakota. So we're actually taking a very interesting point of view as far as the weather going into the evening here on June 8th. We can see it's pretty well saturated all across the continental United States. On the eastern side of the United States, still relatively dry in the region of the southwest, temperatures in the mid 100s. If we take a closer look at some of the temperatures in the United States here, we do see in central Texas 101, in central Florida, very high temperatures in the mid 90s with very high dew points, probably increasing the chance of them getting additional scattered thunderstorms in the region of central Florida through North Florida. We see a very distinct dry line all the way up to the Dakotas, and we will actually show you on our Storm Prediction Center modeling how that is actually playing out as far as the amount of moisture that's actually being pulled up into that region, coupled with that low pressure system that's actually in the region of Wyoming and Montana, which is actually increasing the chance of some very severe weather in that region. When we take a closer look at our Doppler radar here, we can actually see what's actually happening in the region of the southeast. We anticipated additional thunderstorm activity. As we had mentioned in our previous forecast yesterday, we anticipated for today more scattered thunderstorms for the region of North Birmingham, Alabama, northern Mississippi, northern, also going into Memphis, Tennessee. We can see some distinct lines of supercell thunderstorms, and that's a result of that very low level moisture being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico. Keep in mind the sea surface temperatures there are in the low 80s, so it's very ample low level moisture that's being pulled into that region, coupled with other forces that are increasing the chance of thunderstorm activity in the region. When we also take a closer look at this area, we do see some very distinct signs of possible tornado advisories perhaps being issued later on in the evening. So residents of this area, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, Alabama, should be on guard. As you can see, there's some flash flood advisories for the region of Mississippi, simply because that precipitable water table is coming back in a region of 1 to 2 inches. So this area is very saturated with quite a bit of precipitation that has saturated the soil from weeks and weeks of ongoing rainfall, from all the way from pretty much the area of eastern Texas, east of the I-35 corridor, into Louisiana, into Arkansas, Pine Bluff, as well as the Little Rock, Arkansas area, going into Memphis, Tennessee area, also northern Alabama, even the northern Georgia. When we take a close look at Montana, we can actually see a distinct pattern of significant thunderstorm supercell formation in this region also. Very powerful cells are being formed here, and we actually saw just recently in the Dakotas, in the region of Spring Lake, a tornado was reported as having been touched down in that region. So we are monitoring both areas quite keenly. The Dakotas, Montana area, as that low pressure system makes its way further up the north, is going to be impacting the weather, and we actually see more reports of hail, very strong, very strong damaging winds. We anticipate the hail will be anywhere from half of an inch to an inch in diameter in many places in this region of North Dakota, the Bismarck area, also Dickinson, as well as Fallon and Miles City, Billings. That area will be seeing some formation of even additional supercell thunderstorms throughout the evening. We should take a closer look at the temperature anomalies across the continental United States. We can actually see here that there is actually a heating up pattern in the region of North Dakota as well as South Dakota. Very, very distinct pattern along the eastern section of Montana also, and that's where the low pressure system has has anchored itself, and it's influencing the weather in that region. And we anticipate more tornado advisories in that area. Even the Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service has issued special advisories for this region. We're looking at, for a marginal threat, we're looking at New York City, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As far as a slight, or which is an elevated level of risk, we see Shreveport, Louisiana, Rapid City, South Dakota, Bossier City, Louisiana, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and Monroe, Louisiana. And of course, for an enhanced risk, we're looking at Sydney, Montana, and in that region, that zone, we are concerned about additional tornadoes actually touching down in the region of Dakotas as well as eastern Montana. As far as the temperatures across the country at this time, it's very, very warm. Central Texas is 101, all the way through up to Kansas. We're looking in the low 90s. As we see here in North Dakota, the area that we're concerned about, temperatures are in the region of the mid 90s, and also along in California, Central California, 70s and 80s, and it's rarely dry in the region of Arizona and New Mexico as well as Texas, and that area is under severe drought as well as California. And while the southeast states such as Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, and the Carolinas are pretty well saturated as far as dew points are concerned, we do see very, very warm temperatures in the state of Florida. Here's just a breakdown of the dew points that we're looking at, and we see a distinct line that extends all the way up to the region of South Dakota and North Dakota. And we can see that the dew points are in the low 70s all across lining up with a dry line in the central of the state of Texas, all the way through to the Carolinas. So we are actually seeing what's actually happening is scattered supercell thunderstorms actually developing throughout the region, also going up into Texas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and the lower Mississippi Valley, simply because of the very, very significant dew point readings that we're getting from our forecasting model. Suggests that there's going to be additional thunderstorm activity in the region of East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. More storms should be anticipated for Arkansas as well as eastern Oklahoma. But it's going to be ongoing throughout the evening going into tomorrow. It's clearly stated here on our precipitation model as far as what to expect for northern Louisiana, also going into Arkansas. And as you can see, that low pressure system is influencing the weather in the region of eastern Montana as well as North Dakota, South Dakota. And on the eastern side of the United States, all the way up to the northeastern states such as Pennsylvania and also New York and other states should anticipate getting even more scattered thunderstorms throughout the evening. One thing we do want to take a closer look at is all of that Cape energy, convective available potential energy, and we can see a distinct line that lines up with all of the other forecasting models. It pretty much matches our dew point model that we're also looking at. If we take a closer look and map it mentally to our temperature model, we do see that the the Cape modeling extends all the way up from central Texas all the way into Dakotas, and those readings, ladies and gentlemen, are coming back in the region of 2,500 to 3,000 joules per a kilogram. Very, very high capable readings as far as potential energy for additional storms. And we do see that body of Cape energy that is actually over the Gulf of Mexico. So that has a lot to do with the sea surface temperature of the region, but very, very, very warm temperatures fueling low level passage of low level moisture into the region, into central Texas, into Oklahoma. Pretty much a band that's spanning all the way up through Nebraska into South Dakota, North Dakota, and eastern Montana. But for residents in the region, they should be paying very, very close attention to significant weather throughout the evening, additional thunderstorm activity in the region of northern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, going into Tennessee, as well as Arkansas. And then we do see that enhanced risk for northeastern Montana. We're going to continue to monitor the Doppler radar for additional tornado and severe weather advisories for the region of northeastern Montana going into the remainder of the evening and into tomorrow morning, because we do anticipate there's going to be some severe weather that residents of Montana as well as North Dakota are going to be wrestling with as the sun goes down and the potential of nighttime tornadoes increases. So just keep in mind also that the current imagery that's coming from the Doppler radar as far as storms in the region of Bismarck and Fargo, as well as Billings and the Great Falls, is maybe a telltale sign of what to expect once we start wrestling with nighttime hours and the early morning hours. As far as severe weather, there'll be more thunderstorms, there'll be more hail, and there'll be more damaging winds, and also the potential for flash flood events in the region of South Dakota is also anticipated. So as far as the weather is concerned, we are continuing to monitor the situation. It has gotten very, very warm across the entire country, folks. We're looking at some severe temperatures in the core of the continental United States, the Texas Panhandle. We're also looking at just Umar, Arizona, which is always a reference for that drought monitor because it's sort of centered in that region. It's in the mid 90s. Phoenix is in the mid 90s. Las Vegas, Nevada in the mid 90s, and they are suffering from extreme drought that has been getting worse and worse with each year. And it's just amazing to actually see the differences in rainfall in different sections of the United States. If you take a closer look at the areas of Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, very, very, very saturated water table, anywhere from 1.75 inches to 2 inches or higher as far as total saturation, ground saturation. If only some of that rain could find its way into the southwest also, that would be great, but it's just we anticipate that it will just continue to escalate. Just to give you an idea, the scattered thunderstorms for a region of southeastern New Mexico, many farmers have actually have claimed that not only they're fighting the issue of drought, but they're also fighting the hailstorms that are actually wiping out their crops. So it is a horrible event of circumstances in the region of the southwest with a severe drought and with these warm temperatures. We'll have to continue to wrestle through this severe weather throughout the evening and into the morning. And we do appreciate all of our subscribers here at Bound News Network. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that this information has served you well. It's actually helped you to prepare a little bit better for the weather ahead. And as always, please remember to bow to the weather, and thank you for watching Bound News Network.